and welcome to Community Talk. I'm Dan Scheidel, the Executive Director of the United Way of Enid in Northwest Oklahoma. Today, my guest is Jessie Reisenberg. She is the Senior Director of Development and Outreach with Catholic Charities with the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City. Welcome, Jessie. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
In the hot seat.
Yes.
And and it is hot outside. Mm-hmm. Of course, it isn't hot as it's been lately. So, right. But anyway, we're just glad to have Jessie here. We're going to talk about Catholic Charities and their involvement with Enid in Northwest Oklahoma and all the great things that the Catholic Charities do for the folks in our communities. And so thank you for what you do. And before we get started, I always ask our guests to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, your background, where you came from, who you are, and just so they have a little bit of understanding who you are. So.
Just a little.
Just a little bit, yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am actually from Arkansas. I grew up in Northwest Arkansas.
Arkansas, where at?
And Rogers, Bentonville area.
Okay.
Yes, Walmart country, I guess is what they would call that. And I was homeschooled throughout high school and danced my entire young life and moved to Oklahoma City to pursue that in college.
Cool.
And while I did that, I learned I didn't want to perform and I wanted to, in fact, raise money for nonprofits.
That's interesting.
I
so
know.
You didn't want to perform, but you have to perform when you're raising money for nonprofits.
Well,
that's a different kind of performance.
It's a different
right?
kind of performance because my philosophy on fundraising is not that I'm asking you for anything, but that I'm in fact connecting your passion with my need.
Right.
And so that's my philosophy on it, and that's what I learned in college. That was where my heart lay.
Right.
And so I started doing development work early on and thought, man, I think that though I love the arts, God is calling me to help people.
Good.
And then one day I saw the job posting for Catholic Charities, and we were discussing before, I've not always been Catholic. I chose to be Catholic in college, and I love that part of my choice in life and my faith.
So you're a convert.
I'm a convert, yes. And people think, oh my gosh, converting to Catholicism, how odd. But no, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
It'd be really odd if you converted to Judaism. That'd be a little bit different, but anyway.
Yes, indeed. So I really felt called towards service, and Catholic Charities is the way to serve when you are exploring that part of your faith, and learned more about the organization. And the next thing I know, I was applying, and I had the job, and then I was in the job, and
rest is
the
history,
rest is
right?
history.
And you're married, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Been married for 7 years.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like, every day I think we did it.
We did. You just keep saying that for the next 50 years.
Exactly.
It's just
Exactly.
Okay.
And he is Catholic, and he was part of the reason I became Catholic, though I told him if we break up, I'm still going to date your family. Because
good family.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us a little bit about how you came to Catholic Charities. Well, you've already kind of covered that, but how long have you been with Catholic Charities, and tell us a little bit about your job.
Okay, it was 3 years, August 1st was my anniversary, and I started out as the Director of Community Engagement. So I did primarily marketing, development, fundraising, social media, some of those types of things, but I also did the fundraising for our events. And by God's choice alone, because I don't think it was necessarily mine all the time, I was promoted to the Senior Director of Development and Outreach for Catholic Charities. So I oversee the entire department now, the primary fundraiser for the organization, and then I oversee 6 wonderful staff members.
That's great. So the Catholic Charities, how long have they been around?
Oh my! Well, we were founded in 1912.
Oh wow! So
yes.
Quite a few years.
And we're spring chickens still, I guess. But we were founded in 1912, originally as an orphanage, and so
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
One of my great aunt rode the orphan train from the East Coast to somewhere in Nebraska. There was an orphanage, so I've always thought about. In the early, it must have been the 30s, had to have been in the 20s or 30s, that these kids that had ridden the train to get across the country and go someplace that was all foreign to them. But they always wound up at either some kind of a monastery or a church or some kind of an orphanage that was always tied to the church.
Right.
And so thank God for church people and
Right.
people that care for our orphans and our kids. But so tell us a little bit about the. Well, we went way off.
I know. Me.
Sorry. Tell us a little bit about the Enid operations, because we have Stacy Kurtz, who's the director here.
Yes.
And Laura
Max.
Yes, Laura Max. And both of them, they do a super job.
They do a
and we are
fantastic
so
job.
fortunate to have them in our community. But tell us a little bit about the operations here and how they're connected to
Sure.
Oklahoma City.
So we are Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City. Now what that means is there a geographical boundary that delimitates the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City, which is central and western Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Now back
Does that just kind of split the state in half then?
I-35 corridor type of situation.
Okay.
So
All the way to
46
Texas?
counties on our side, and the Diocese of Tulsa has
okay. Wow.
has their own place on
Learned
that
something
side.
new, yeah.
Yes. So when we're the whole archdiocese, and our main goal was to serve the greater part of central and western Oklahoma. And so with that, decided to open regional service locations that had programs, and that includes Enid. And so we did that in 1997, opened up our Enid regional office. And today we have 3 main programs from that location. We have emergency assistance, family hope, case management. HOPE stands for help, organize, prioritize, empower. And
Is
then
that through your counseling services then, or is that just
That's
overall
part-
mission of the organization?
That's part of family support services.
Okay.
So family support services has emergency assistance and family hope.
Gotcha.
And then there's the counseling services, which works symbiotically with the other 2 programs, but is separate from that.
Well, I love the acronym, and because Catholic Charities does provide hope to people that are either struggling with addiction or they're having problems with their marriage or their family relationships. Right.
Right.
It's all about relationships. But I think the Catholic Charities, a lot of folks know that you provide emergency assistance in regards to rental assistance and sometimes utilities assistance.
That's
and that's
correct.
what some of the United Way dollars goes to help fund those assistances in our community. But I think a lot of folks might not understand about the counseling.
Sure.
And what type of counseling you have. So can you talk a little bit about counseling and the clientele?
Yes. So emergency assistance it's a great way to be introduced to Catholic Charities. Maybe you come in to have your utility bill paid, but we offer more than that. We offer a chance for a relationship, and that includes sometimes our case management program, but oftentimes includes our counseling program. And what we do through that program is mainly family strengthening, individual or family-based counseling for short-term sessions. That focuses on depression and anxiety, marital counseling, some of those individual needs that really strengthen the family.
And the great thing about that is, a lot of people might think that Catholic Charities are only for the Catholic.
Right.
Right. And I every time I go out and I talk about Catholic Charities as one of our United Way partner agencies, I always talk about that. What is it? It's like 85 to 90%
That's
of
correct.
services are provided to non-Catholic.
That's correct.
So it doesn't really matter what denomination you are. It's if you need help, you're there to help, and that's just super. And we really appreciate what you do there. So, cost of counseling, is there a cost for anybody to get counseling? And
Yes.
how many sessions do they go through? And
So it is a copay of $20 per session. And so when that's normally a 6-session model, we're asking that clients pay $20 per session. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't have clients that absolutely cannot afford to pay that cost. And that's okay, because we will take each individual circumstance into consideration before you go into your counseling sessions with Stacy here in Enid.
So is it all based on income? I mean, primarily, or?
It's actually not.
That's good.
It's just a flat copay rate, which is actually much lower than what you would normally find for an insurance copay. And it's a little bit of an investment on the client's part, because there's a psychological difference between when you value something because you're given a little bit of something else, and when it's for free because it almost cheapens what you're doing.
Right.
But we truly believe that those counseling services are worth much more than $20 each, and that they will see the benefit from it. Now, again, that doesn't mean if a client absolutely cannot pay that we won't see them.
Okay. And you also have a Spanish counselor?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have one of the most unique aspects of what Catholic Charities has to offer is, though we have a wonderful location here in Enid with those 3 programs, we have the ability to bring our other programs to Catholic Charities here in Enid if we need to, and including a Spanish counselor. So every other week we have a counselor that comes up from Oklahoma City to provide Spanish language counseling here in Enid.
So how do you get the information out to folks that might need counseling or might need rental assistance, or and really is it that they get an eviction notice or they get a disconnect notice on their utilities? Is that to what they have to do before they actually come and ask for help, or how do you work through those things?
Sure. So oftentimes, most of the cases, people are not seeking assistance until they've received their eviction or cutoff
Gotcha.
notice. Now, one of the best parts about working here in Enid is that we have a fantastic referral process, both to Catholic Charities and from Catholic Charities. And through United Way, you guys are great champions of the charity tracker. And that has really allowed us to make sure that the referral process is very efficient and effective, and we're able to do a much better job paying those bills because of the charity tracker.
Well, we really appreciate what Stacy and Laura do, because Stacy oversees that program for Charity Tracker, and a lot of our other partner agencies and other nonprofits and even churches in our community utilize that, so they can track to see if somebody was trying to game the system and trying to get money from this church and then that nonprofit and then another nonprofit, and it can be flagged in the system.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Now, that doesn't always mean that sometimes, and unfortunately, more often than we'd like, we see clients that will come in with a very high utility bill, and Catholic Charities can really only assist with the
Certain
last
percentage,
$200 or
Yeah,
so of
yeah.
that. But we are able to call and partner with many of the other organizations that are around Enid to get the bill paid in full.
Good.
So that's always been, that's
Okay.
a great.
We only have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
So, Jesse, tell us a little bit about your funding, any upcoming events that you want to mention, and then anything that we didn't cover, let's have it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it takes about $200,000 to run the Enid office here.
Oh, wow.
And so we are blessed by the United Way to receive just roughly 10% of that from the United Way. But then we are blessed by about 34% of that from local givers here in Enid through our annual appeal, which is through our Catholic parishes.
Gotcha.
So it's a big blessing that we have that opportunity. And the rest of the funds really come from that general operating appeal from the rest of non-locals. But what we are doing now is partnering with lots of different community leaders here in an advisory capacity to find more ways to get education about what we're doing here out into the community, and hope to be able to do an event in the springtime to allow individuals to know more about Catholic Charities and support Catholic Charities.
Good. Well, good. How do we get a hold of you? Tell our audience how you get a hold of Catholic Charities, either website, phone number.
Yes. Well, you are welcome to find all of our programs listed on our website at CatholicCharitiesOK.org. We'd also love follow on social media. You can find us at Catholic Charities Archdiocese Oklahoma City on Facebook, or CCA OKC on Instagram. You'll love it. We're a lot of fun on social media.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for being here. That's about all the time we've got.
Perfect.
So, again, if you'd like more information, either contact Catholic Charities of Oklahoma City, or you can always contact us at the United Way, and our phone number our website, all that information is up. So thanks so much for being with us. Stay tuned for another great program. We appreciate you, and continue to support United Way, our partner agencies, and good things in our community. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Julie Nelson with Hospice Circle of Love. We're a not-for-profit organization that helps terminally ill patients and their families, and we're at 314 South 3rd. Our website is hospicecircleoflove.com. Be watching for us on upcoming segments of Community Talk.
Hi, and welcome back to Community Talk. My name is Ashley Wright, and I'm Leonardo's newest event and marketing coordinator, and today joining me is Tracy Biddle, the executive director. Tracy, why don't you tell us what's new at Leonardo's?
Okay. First, I'd like to welcome you to Leonardo's.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, we had a few months without somebody in your role, and so we're very happy to have you here. And I think you're going to bring great experience from the good old Oklahoma State
Yes.
School of Communications and Journalism.
Go
And
Pokes.
Yeah, I know. I hear that a lot from my family. But anyway, welcome. We
Thank
are very
you.
happy to have you. You are starting at a fun time of the year because, man, in the fall, when people get back into school, we really start with programming. And with the programming comes events, and then you'll stay busy for the next 9 months for sure.
That's a good thing.
You won't be missing those kids and the noisiness. One of the things that we have just started that we want to be sure and share with the people in the television audience is that we are really trying to add some fun educational components to the Saturday afternoons. You know, we are such a fun learning environment. You don't have to sit in your chair to learn. You don't have to follow quite as many rules. You get to get up and explore. And so we're really trying to beef up a lot of our educational components on Saturday. So we have every other Saturday of August, we've had fun stuff. And Ashley just completed this for me because Saturday is Aviation Day. We're really excited about Aviation Day because it is a joint project between the Cherokee Strip Conference Center and Leonardo's. And we are getting together to talk about all the different forms of aviation. Dr. Owen Garrett, who astronaut from Enid that helped found our museum. We're going to share a lot of things on him, share some things from NASA that we have because of him. And so it's going to be a really special day at Leonardo's. And this is all just included in your admission on Saturday. So if you come on Saturday, August 17th, pay your admission to get into Leonardo's, we will have a full day studying aviation. There's going to be some special presentations. There's going to be some hide and seek kind of with some rocks with some special messages. And you want to be able to check out both Cherokee Strip and Leonardo's that day because there'll be special things offered. So is there anything I'm forgetting about that one?
I think you covered all the bases.
Okay. All right. Then we still have quite a bit of August left, thank goodness. And I don't know if anybody has noticed in the back of Adventure Quest now we have a pollinator garden. And we are planting things that attract monarch butterflies, really any butterfly, but hopefully the monarchs as they migrate will be coming through. And so on the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month, we are going to be studying pollination. And that is going to be really fun. That's the one I can't wait for. We're going to have extra crafts, extra activities, educational presentations. We're going to work with the Extension Center and really try to offer some good education. Because it seems like people are really recognizing this need to plant the right thing and do native Oklahoma grasses and things that grow. I had to giggle at myself pulling milkweed and replanting it because where I came from as a child, you did not keep your milkweed. That was a weed. But milkweed is great for the butterfly population. So if you come to Leonardo's, included with your admission on August 31st, you'll be able to do all kinds of fun things and learn about pollination, look at our pollinator garden, looking at doing some things for yourself. So those will be some special things we have going on in August.
So what time are those events?
Good question. Those will just be offered all day. So when we open at 10 a.m., you can come and spend as long as you want, and we will have those things available until we close at 5 p.m. that day.
Okay, cool.
So that is some fun things that we're doing during August, but then September, Good old fall. We're always looking forward to fall and football and cooler temperatures and all.
Yes.
But we've given you your first big event that
Yes.
you're going to do yourself. What's it called?
Motor Mania.
Motor Mania,
Yes.
man. Really, I think a lot of the people around town, we've done this 15 years. But it's funny because each year is just a little bit different.
Right.
So we are getting ready for Motor Mania. We're reaching out to people. This is, I love this. I think it's kind of the public health study that I have in my history, because I love letting the children learn about something that they're very, very curious about. Machinery, any type of vehicle or motorized thing that moves and does things. We welcome them to come to Motor Mania. So if you have something in your family or a hobby group or anything like that, reach out to Leonardo's, because we want to have you come and put your motorized thing on display.
Yes.
Because we want the kids to come and be able to explore and learn and do that in a safe environment. A lot of times we tell them, no, stay back, for safety and such, but this is where we can take down those boundaries, and the kids can come and learn. H&J Services, which is an amazing company in North Enid, is our main sponsor. They're going to bring cranes, and we're going to have them high in the sky and several different things. Then we are also going to have TPI Staffing doing some special things. They're a sponsor, helping bring this to the public as well, and TNC Meats, which, I'm sorry, but if you say TNC Meats, I get hungry, because that's my favorite place to buy meat in town. But those are our sponsors bringing Motor Mania to us. So you've been calling people.
Yes.
Give some examples of who you've been talking to about coming to Motor Mania.
We're going to have some fire trucks from the Pioneer Pleasantville area. We do have a rock truck coming from Rick Carruthers. I do know we're going to have a couple motorcycles.
Those were an addition this year.
Yes, a new addition. We're also going to have Yellow House may bring a dozer of some sort. There's plenty of vehicles that are coming.
Yeah. I think it's really fun, especially with the emergency vehicles, to let those children explore and ask
Yes.
questions and be able to approach, these heroes that live among us, and ask them questions, when it's an environment just for that. So EMS and fire and police and OHP.
Yes.
Just all of our friends are stepping forward to make it special. Mack trucks are always there. OG&E's always there. It's a really fun event. It flies by really fast.
Yes.
It's 10 a.m. to noon, and we're going to do it on Saturday, September 21st.
Right.
Okay. For those of you that have come every year, we've played with this event a little bit. It seems like we used to have it when it was a little bit warm, and then last year was a little bit cool. So we're kind of back in the middle, or in September, where I think we'll probably have beautiful weather, and
Yes, hopefully.
it'll be a really fun day. So look for these flyers, look for it on social media. Ashley's done a great job of getting it out there. We have an event set up on our Facebook, and let us know what you'd like to see. If you know somebody that has something great, a show car, something like that, we would love to invite you to bring it down and join the party. So,
Yeah.
anything else I'm forgetting about Motor Mania?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, remember that good meal that's included.
Right.
Last year we had pulled pork. It was scrumptious. So, okay. One thing I wanted to mention before we went on, just for our crowd that has been taking care of us for all these years, Princess Ball is an amazing father-daughter ball that we do, and it's usually right about the time of Motor Mania, or within a month or so. This is my first announcement to the public, and it is all official. We got the contract. We've booked the place. We are moving that event. So moms and daughters, dads out there, if we're getting a few questions, when do we get tickets for Princess Ball? We gave up on trying to schedule that during football season. This is Oklahoma, and I don't recommend that for people. So everybody knows, Leonardo's will be doing an amazing Princess Ball. It will be on the 8th of February, 2020. So that we do not have fathers that have conflicts with coaching football and attending football and doing all those good things.
Right.
So just so everybody knows, Princess Ball has moved.
I'm very excited for that event.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. The last thing that we want to be sure and share with everybody is it's time for fall after school educational activities. So there's a lot of things. We are going to be continuing with our Friday homeschool. So we know Leonardo serves all the children out there, whether in public school, private school, or homeschool. Come on Fridays and go to our website and check it out. You can attend a science and an art class. Really helps mom and dad out, and taught by a certified teacher. Then we also have OG&E science. We have Junior Welfare League sewing class. We're going to have a little pottery and a big pottery, kind of a smaller group of children doing pottery and an older group. These are all in the evenings or in late afternoons, so you need to go to our website and figure out your schedule, see what night you could attend. And then this year we are adding coding. Coding, that which we learn in order to program computers and all that great stuff.
Oh, fun.
There are neat, fun activities that you can do. We've got a great teacher, and we're going to be adding that to our curriculum. So really, every single day of the week, there's going to be extra classes going on over in the Ed Center.
Wow.
So, do you want to share how people enroll? Tell them about our website and our phone number so that people can get signed up.
Yes, if you go to leonardos.org, you can see in the events tab of all the new classes that are coming up, and you can go and get the enrollment form there, or you can call us at 233-ARTS to figure out how to do that. And I think that's really about it.
For each class, you want to be sure that you get the enrollment form, and then you want to be sure that you get the program release on the back, because we have to have that before they start the class. Also, just to, so we want everybody to know that, we won't want you to feel like you can't come because of the money. If you want to look into a scholarship, we'll look into a scholarship for you.
And make sure you sign up quick because the class does have limits. So make sure you get there and get your spot filled.
Yes. Okay, I think those are the biggest things that we wanted to share today. Just adding a little bit more about that scholarship, as far as Science Club and Junior Welfare League, they have a corporate sponsor, and we do have plenty of room for people to attend on scholarships. And then we also have a scholarship where people can get a scholarship to attend a museum as well. So you get that on our website as well, www.leonardos.org.
Well, Tracy, thank you for coming today, and stay tuned for the next segment of Community Talk.
Hi, I'm Carrie Sanders, the director at Loaves and Fishes of Northwest Oklahoma, a client choice food pantry where our mission is fighting hunger, feeding hope through healthy food choices. Watch for us on Community Talk.
Welcome back to Community Talk. I'm Joey Reinert. I'm the head football coach at Chisholm High School. I've got Caleb Dent here with me today. He's a senior football player for us. We are here to kind of give details to the community about a special event we have at our campus that we are hosting on August the 30th. We've partnered with the Warriors for Freedom Foundation to do a military appreciation night, really digging into the roots of Enid, to their strong military past, and want to honor the community members and our military servicemen, and just give our school a chance to kind of integrate with the military history of Enid, and really dig deep into the past and research things that have happened within their families, amongst service members, and just to be an educational learning experience for our kids, as well as a service project. The Warriors for Freedom Foundation is a 503c organization, and they are a money-raising organization to integrate combat veterans back into their families and communities. They raise money to take people on different excursions and events, just to kind of normalize them back into society. So we're excited to be able to do that. We're still in the kind of the building process of this whole thing. What we thought was a fairly cool event, small event, has turned into an event of enormous proportions, especially at our school. And being a smaller school, we've really reached out to our parents to help this thing out, and like I said, it's exploded into a huge event. there's been a lot of planning on the back end of this. Some of our students and athletes, they don't quite understand how big this is right now. But once we get into school and we get into the week of the game, we're really going to push them into learning and researching and knowing what happens within the military. We got to have a great experience the other day. We took our football guys out to Vance to get a base tour, to kind of show them what happens day to day. They see some of these guys around the community. They see some of our kids that have parents that come and pick them up at practice or things like that, but they really got to see what they do. So Caleb, I want you to talk a little bit about that experience that we got to enjoy yesterday at Vance Air Force Base.
Oh man, it was really cool. I thought it was nice that we all got on a bus, left the school about 9:30, got there like 10, and they checked us in. We got off, and there were 3 men and 1 lady that all introduced themselves, and we split up into 3 groups, and they took us to the tower, explained what goes on in there, and they showed one of my guys in my group got to go on this VR thing and actually got to act like he was flying, which was really cool. And then we went to a spot where they had 3 planes out, and they told us all about it, and it was just a really cool experience, and it meant a lot to all of us.
Yeah, it's great to get out and walk through the squadrons and see what the trainer pilots are in there studying. I mean, they're in the books, and seeing these guys react to what those guys are investing every day, and how they have to prepare. They actually likened it to what we do as far as going through 2-a-day practices, where they have to come in, they're studying, they're working, they go on their flights, they come back, they get debriefed, they're sitting around, and they go at it again for a second time that day. So it was pretty neat, and those guys really out at Vance really got into it and explained a lot of detail to our students and athletes. So that was a really neat deal. And that's kind of the thing we're looking for, is to get these guys amongst the military community. We've got several things set up for that week for our football team to have veterans come in, and they're going to do some after practice speeches. We got a big session on Tuesday night where we're going to bring in 7 older veterans, guys that have been through Korea or Vietnam. The generation that's about to leave us, we wanted to get these guys among those guys and get them talking and really learn what those guys had to go through on stuff. So we're going to use that educational tool throughout the week. And then we just got some really cool things that are going to happen at the game. We've got a ceremony that will start at 6:30, and it kind of leads up to game time. We are going to honor, we're going to have honorary team captains. We're going to recognize all military personnel in attendance. And then we've just got a cool kickoff to the game where Vance has agreed to help us out and just invite all their trainers out, all their military personnel out. We've got a tailgate that starts at 5:30. That thing's open to the public. We've got free entry for all military personnel to the game. They'll also eat for free at the tailgate. Just an incredible amount of planning on our part with our families and organizing that tailgate. It's going to be really special. We're going to have lots of things set up over there to the outside for them just to kind of mingle around and be amongst everybody. And we're going to encourage our students and the population to just kind of jump in there and shake hands and eat and sit by somebody and tell a story and learn something. So I guess caught up on all this a little bit is we actually have a football game that night against Weatherford, a very, very, very good football team. They're Class 4A, we're Class 2A, so we're stepping out of our element a little bit and playing a big team. Should be a very good game. At halftime, we've got some special things set up. We're going to honor 2 very special veterans to our school, and a fireworks show on top of that. So it's just a lot of cool things that our parents have plugged in to make this a huge event. It's something that, like I said, it's taken a lot of planning. We started planning this thing in April, and it's finally starting to get to the point where it's becoming a reality. We've got still a little moving parts that we need to square away, but it's really starting to turn into an incredible event. You know one of the special things that we did with this is we got an alternate jersey that we're going to wear for the game. It's a design we picked out, and what the kids were expected to do is they were expected to find a unit patch that meant something to them. And so they had to go home and they had to figure out if there's anybody in their family that either served in the military that had a special meaning to them, and they had to pick out that unit patch and they had to put that on their jersey. So Caleb, I want you to talk about a little bit about that and maybe even the patch you picked and what it meant to you.
I thought it was a really cool idea that we got to put on these patches and recognize some guys from our own life and bring them out and honor them on the football field. And I chose a patch that means a lot to my community and my school. My patch was for John Matusik. He passed away, what was it?
About a year and a half ago.
Year and a half
two
ago.
years ago.
And so he meant a lot to me and meant a lot to my teammates. And some of us had him and some of us didn't get to have him, but he was a great guy, and so that's who I chose.
Yeah. Mr. Matusik was a math teacher at our high school, very revered and beloved math teacher, and I know, that's going to have a lot of special meaning for Caleb on Friday night when we play Weatherford. Some of the things also throughout the week that we've had an incredible outpouring of sponsorships, local businesses. Jake Voss and Edward Jones was gracious enough to sponsor our high school, and they will be coming out to the high school on Friday of our game week, the 30th, to just let them tell a story about what they've done for veterans or what's important to them about military or veterans, just kind of letting them get a chance to tell our school about their service. Also, we had Bank Central, who has the elementary school, I believe, and they're going to get to bring a sponsor or an employee of theirs, whoever they wanted to bring out, just to tell a story to those kids. I think they each have a special plan. Our middle school has sponsors as well, and they'll get to bring in a community member, whoever they choose, a military service member, to be able to just tell their story. Like I said, it's a lot about just getting kids integrated into the military experience, into learning what goes in day in and day out, and the experiences that a lot of people around our community have had. We really want to take a second to thank Vance Air Force Base for letting us come out, letting us kind of basically just extend open arms to them and say, come on out to Chisholm High School on August the 30th. It's something that we really feel like we owe the community. It's just so many things that Enid has benefited from with having the base here and just having a military heavily involved in our community. So, like I said, we want to tell them thank you. And really, we want to extend an invitation to everybody in Enid. This is something that can be really cool, and we're really looking forward to the event. It's an event like no other that's been in Enid as far as high school sports go, and we plan to make it pretty special for everybody, including any military that wants to come out and enjoy a good football game. Come on out, free of charge. Come to the tailgate, eat some good food prepared by our parents, and just enjoy a good evening of honoring our military service and honoring our veterans. Currently, we have a website up. It's warriorsforfreedom.org/Chisholm, and you can go on there until tomorrow for pre-orders. You can order T-shirts, jerseys. You can order bracelets. One thing that's special to me, I think, for our school is we have American flags. They're going to be just small American flags where you can indicate on there a service member or anybody that you want to honor on that flag. We're going to place those things in the backside of our end zone to have this huge field of American flags, and that's going to really set the kind of the mood for the evening, having all those flags and represented there. And also, we want to encourage everybody to check out warriorsforfreedom.org. Their organization is doing a lot of really, really good stuff. Their mission is obviously to integrate those guys back in, but it's to combat military, the suicide rate at which when people come back from combat. And so it's really important to them. They want to make sure that they're able to help people when they come back. So if you don't mind, check that website out and look to support them. It's a great cause, and like I said, we're excited about it. You can kind of feel the vibe. We just started practice yesterday, and you can kind of feel the intensity and the vibe. It's building. It's building it. When we're ready for August the 30th, we're ready for the community to come out and join us. I can't speak for all these guys, but I believe they're ready to be out there and just enjoy a good competition and the atmosphere of that whole evening. So, Caleb, you got anything else? Anything else you want to add to the?
Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, we appreciate the time here at Community Talk Live, and if you come out August the 30th, Chisholm High School, and we would be glad to have you, and we would be glad to have you honor our military as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Trisha Mitchell, Executive Director with the For Our Kids Foundation, whose mission is to provide support to children and adults with disabilities. Please look for us on Community Talk.
Hi, welcome back to Community Talk. I'm Tree Perkins from Youth and Family Services, and today I have with me a special guest, Devin Watson, and Devin is one of our case managers at Youth and Family Services, but we all wear several hats, as does Devin, and so I'm going to have him tell us a little bit about that today. So welcome, Devin.
Hi. Nice
Thanks
to be
for
here.
being here.
Yeah, no problem.
I didn't have to drag you.
Right.
So you voluntarily came. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yep.
So there are two things I want us to talk about today, and that is the FTOP program and then our new prevention program. But first, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about the FTOP program. Tell us what that means, and then just kind of give me a brief overview of what that program is.
Okay. So FTOP stands for the First Time Offenders Program.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is, it's basically a prevention program. We'll have juveniles that get referred to the program through Enid Municipal Court and Office of Juvenile Affairs. They'll get referred into the program, and basically what my job then is to teach them prevention skills so they can stay out of trouble and not reoffend in the future.
Okay, so then this is for juveniles who've been in trouble maybe for the very first time.
Correct.
And does it involve drugs, or can it be just a variety of things that they've gotten in trouble for?
Yeah, it can be a variety of different things. Typically, we try to veer away from violent offenses, so things like battery or assault, we typically don't pick up on those clients. Those clients are more suitable for counseling services because we don't want them in a group setting, causing any sorts of violence within a group.
So is it court ordered?
Yes,
Okay.
It is court ordered. We actually go to courts on a certain day, and we will refer the juveniles into the program at the courts.
Okay. And so then they're reporting to you and probably also a probation officer?
In most cases, yes. Yeah.
Okay. How long is the program?
So the program it's basically a 12-hour program, but I break that up into 2 weeks. So what we do is we meet typically 2 days a week, and we'll go over the first session will be lesson 1, and then the second session I'll teach sessions 2 and 3. And then for the third session, I teach sessions 4 and 5, and then the final session is a graduation where we kind of just review the whole entire course and celebrate with pizza and all sorts of fun stuff.
So what is a typical session like? What kind of things do you talk about?
So in the first session, we'd go over, basically trying to, why are we here? Like we're here as a result of our own actions. Everything that we do in life is, we can't blame anything outside of ourselves. Like at a certain point, we did something that caused us to be in this situation. And what was that? And we kind of discuss different theories like the offense cycle, which states that like once you get into this cycle, it's a vicious cycle of offending, and you just keep offending and offending unless you can recognize that and stop yourself. The 3 main keys that we go over, these are like themes that are repeated throughout the entire course, are the first one is decide, don't slide. So that means you're making a conscious decision instead of just sliding with, what your emotions tell you. So that's the first key.
So stopping and thinking.
Stop and think about what you're doing before you just go out and do what you feel like you got to do, because that's where a lot of problems can come in, where you just react emotionally instead of with your brain thinking about it. And then the second key is making sure that it's safe to connect. So this is why in the FTOP program, the teenager and the parent are both required to attend.
I was going to ask if family is involved.
Right. So the juvenile will come along with a parent or guardian to the class, and this helps because the parent is then able to kind of reiterate the lessons learned in class, and they're able to practice together at home, and it kind of helps to solidify the information that's taught in class, because they're hearing it they're hearing it in class, and they'll also probably be hearing it at home as well. But the making it safe to connect key is making sure that parent-teen communication is safe for the teen to come to the parent in case they need any help. Because, like I tell the teens in the class, your parents are one of your greatest resources. They've been where you have been. They've been your age, and they're a great resource, a wealth of wisdom, and you should utilize that.
I'm sure parents appreciate that.
Yeah, they like that.
Yeah, as a parent of an 18-year-old myself, I would like someone to tell him that.
So yeah, the teens sometimes they're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. But yeah, and then the third and final key is, what is it? Sorry, hold on.
That's okay. I put a lot of pressure on you. So
make it safe to connect. Hold on, do your part.
Okay. That was quick. I was going to help.
Yeah. So do your part. That means focus on the things in life that you do have control over. And one of the things we teach again and again is that in life we have control over, some of the most important things are in our control, like our attitude, the way we treat others, the way we treat our parents, how hard we work at certain things. All those things are under our control, and we have the ability to make decisions so we can better our own lives.
It's a wonderful program.
Yes.
I've seen it in action. I know how good it is. So this is an alternative to incarceration for juveniles, correct?
Not always incarceration. Sometimes it's just an additional, what would you call it? Additional probation that they put on top of it.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll lessen the fines. Sometimes they'll have an exorbitant fine of I don't know, maybe like $500, but this 12-hour program knocks off like $120 for them. So they're incentivized to. Okay,
so it's a great benefit all the way around.
Right.
And is there any cost to the family for this program?
There is no cost. FTOP is all funded through a CBYS grant.
Okay.
So we get all of our funds through our different grants for that program.
Okay.
So it's completely free to the juveniles and the parents.
Great. So another incredible opportunity for those first-time offenders that are in our community here in Enid, something I think very valuable for both the juvenile and the parent.
Yes.
And there's a lot of benefits to it. So, okay, well, that's awesome. So now I want you to put your other hat on, your Botvin hat.
Botvin, right.
And every time I'm writing for a grant and I write Botvin life skills training, I get an autocorrect because nobody even recognizes on the internet, I guess, what Botvin is. So can you tell us a little bit about the Botvin Life Skills Training Program?
Yeah, so Botvin is a program that I had the opportunity to actually go out and spearhead this past spring. I went to both Adams and Garfield, and I provided this class where we taught life skills, which basically are, to keep kids from getting into trouble in the future, keep them from, abusing drugs or getting hooked on cigarettes or marijuana, and kind of keep them out of trouble, basically.
And so this was a pilot program, you said, at Adams Elementary?
Adams and
Garfield Elementary.
Yes.
What grades did you work with?
I went in and taught the 5th grade classes.
Okay. And it's a 12-week program? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe it was 8 weeks. It was 8 weeks because it was 8 sessions, yes.
Okay.
So 8 weeks, and each session is an hour long. So
I had the privilege of getting to sit and observe you in one of those sessions, and I remember that the kids were thinking about situations they might find themselves in where they need to come up with a good, healthy decision to avoid that situation.
right.
And I noticed how well they were paying attention and raising their hand. Really, lots of discussion with you on that. And they seemed very much into the session. They really
Right.
liked it.
Yeah, and I think that's primarily because, the kids don't get all the opportunity to talk about these sort of things, and whenever, you bring it up in a really engaging way, it really catches their attention, and they're excited to learn about, how to make decisions and how to improve self-esteem and how to be assertive and stand up for themselves, and those different things that we teach with those life skills.
It's important. And so you cover things like tobacco use, alcohol, drug use,
Yes.
bullying.
Bullying. Bullying, yes, because we talk about assertiveness and how you need to stand up for yourself. We talk about the difference between passiveness, aggressiveness, and assertiveness, and how passive people, when they come across bullying, they just, they cave under it. They just kind of pretend like it doesn't bother them. Aggressive people get violent, but assertive people, they actually stand up for themselves. So we try to, that's one of the lessons we teach is how to stand up for yourself, and that also helps with issues like with peer pressure, where they might be, having peer pressure to, use drugs or alcohol or any other sort of things like that.
Well, we're almost out of time, but let me just ask you quickly. I know that you did some pre and post surveys, and I really enjoyed reading some of the surveys that you got back from the students. Can you just briefly tell me maybe a couple of them and at least how positive it was?
For the most part, the kiddos all really enjoyed the program a whole lot. The most frequent comment that I got was that they loved the candy that I brought to them. So
Of course.
right, and they all the surveys told me like how they appreciated learning these different skills. So I really enjoyed reading those part of the surveys as well.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, you made a big impact on them. And I know I'm working on grants as well as our executive director so that we can offer that in every one of Enid public schools. So pretty soon we'll be able to blanket the community. We're working on it. It's an incredible program. So thank you for taking charge and running that for us. Thank you for all that you do for FTOP. And I know you wear other hats as well.
Yes.
So thanks for coming today.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate you watching, and so we'll see you next time.
If your nonprofit group would like to be on Community Talk, give us a call at 540-8918.